Hello. In this video, I am going to talk about how to improve social awkwardness. Yes, are you a socially awkward person? I'm going to tell you how to improve your social awkwardness. So if you are socially awkward, then watch this video and you will be probably still as socially awkward as you are now. But I don't know, there's no hope for you if you're socially awkward. Not gonna lie, you're gonna be a nerd forever. Sorry, there's cool kids, there's not cool kids. No, I'm joking, it's a joke. Not funny. Okay, so here's the deal. How to improve social awkwardness. So one thing you need to understand is that everybody experiences social awkwardness, right? There is no human being on the planet that has somehow figured out some formula to never be in an awkward situation ever again, right? There's two people or more, two or more people in a situation. There's bound to be one of them's gonna fucking say something stupid or be awkward or be weird, or like one of their jokes isn't gonna land and it's gonna be like, okay. But I think what you probably clicked on this video for is that you want to know how to like not be shy in front of other people. Like there's people there, they seem like they're having fun, and you're like scared, like, oh, I want to join their fun group of fun things they're doing, but I don't know how to join them. Oh, what do I? And it's this like inner war that you have with yourself, and this hyper focus on your own internal state of mind that kind of trips you up. I think that's what I think you mean by your social awkwardness. So here's the deal. There's a couple of things that you can do. I guess like let's talk like action tips, things you can actually do. So the first thing is to not overthink everything. And the way that you don't overthink is by speaking, right? So one very good analogy that I heard once about overcoming social awkwardness is like this. Going into a social situation is like trying to fly a jet, but you don't have the manual to fly the jet. You don't know how to fly the jet, and your brain is your co-pilot, and your brain has the manual, but it won't give you the manual. And you're like, give me the manual. And the brain's like, no, sorry, I'm not going to do it. So what you have to do is you just have to like start pressing buttons and like try and take off in the jet anyway. And then what will happen is like your brain will realize that you're actually serious, and if it doesn't give you the manual, then it's going to die. So it'll give you the manual, right? So like that's kind of the frame that you need to be coming from. That's like the state of mind that you need to have when you're going into a social situation, which is just like, I'm going to jump in head first, and if I say something retarded, it's okay because I can overcome whatever I said that's retarded. And the best way to do this, right? Like, so that's step one, is to commit to action instead of trying to figure out the right way to do it. Because you're never going to get into the situation where you always say something right every single time. Over time, you will notice patterns in conversations with people, and you will hopefully see that certain phrases will elicit a certain type of reaction from people more often than not, and you can reuse those phrases and create new phrases based on that structure of phrases. For example, you'll recognize all these patterns of social situations, but you won't ever get to the point where you know exactly what to say in every situation. You'll never be in an awkward situation again. So you need to understand that and just go into it with an attitude of like, I'm going to just try something and see what happens, while giving your best guess, I guess. Don't just like try anything like, oh, I fucked up. Like, oh, well, haha, I won't learn anything from this. Give it your best guess and then go in and try and say something that you think, is not fucking weird. And the best way to do this is to make an observation. So this is the second step. First step is committing to some sort of action, right? Like I'm going to try and overcome this. I'm not going to be afraid. I'm going to actually make an attempt to speak to people and interact with them. So make sure you're doing that. The second thing is just make an observation, right? So I personally like observations because you can use them to segue into other ideas. And if you make an observation that is not intuitive, introspective, that like sounds smart, then people in that group will automatically think higher of you, right? So let's say you make an observation in the group and then you segue that into some other concept that everybody kind of knows about, right? Let's say you're in a group of people, you're talking, and some person says something, oh yeah, like I went to this place last weekend. I'm just making shit up, right? Oh, I went to my friend's birthday party last night, and well, actually, I just realized that I'm giving you bad advice. Okay, so the best way, forget everything I said in that other video. Forget about it. The best way to get over social awkwardness is to just make the conversation about the other person, right? And the best way to do this, God, I should really start this video over. The best way to do this is to convey the element of surprise to everything they say. Surprise and excitement, right? They say something to you. Oh, I went to my friend's birthday party last night. No way, that's crazy, dude. Are you serious? Your friend's birthday? It's my cousin's birthday last night. Where'd you guys go? Right? So you just like, the idea is that when you I should really do this video over. Whatever, I'm gonna roll with it. It's socially awkward, but I'm rolling with it. When you convey the emotion of surprise, it's kind of like an automatic win in a conversation, right? In Hebrew, we say mitlaev, right? Where they'll say like lama ta mitlaev, like why are you getting so excited about what that person said? But that is actually the secret to overcoming being socially awkward, is to actually just take an interest in the other person and act excited and happy about everything that they're telling you. And what this will do is it will encourage them to speak more and to go into further detail about what they were doing. Think of it in a very simple sense, like reward and punishment, right? You have a group of people, one person says something. If that person is punished for what they say, perceived or actual punishment, then they will not perform that action again, because they will associate in their mind whatever they said or did with some sort of punishment, which is probably why you experience some sort of social awkwardness. However, if you reward that person for contributing, then they will contribute more. And this is often done by people who are not socially awkward and take pity on people who are socially awkward and try and include them in the conversation. For example, and this is a great example for any of you who are like actually socially awkward. So you're at a dinner, for example, let's say you're at some occasion and you're being very quiet. Let's say you haven't said anything. There's no opportunity for you to say anything. You're just kind of sitting there quiet. Everyone else is talking about something and you're just kind of the odd man out, right? It happens. And then you'll notice somebody, maybe in a lull in the conversation, or maybe, not in a lull, they'll turn to you and they'll say, what about you? You said this, or you did this. And they'll give you a prompt to come into the conversation. And at first it might be like a little bit weird. You're like creaky, metaphorically speaking, creaky, like the cobwebs are coming off, and you start talking a little bit. And then they reward you in some way. They say, oh, wow, really? That's so cool. Like, blah, blah, blah. This person is also interested in that thing, And they reward you to encourage you to talk more and to participate in the conversation more. So that's, I guess, number 2. I don't really know. Anyway, the third one is to make sure, and I guess this is kind of related to the first one or 2. The third one is to make sure that everybody in the group is included in whatever's going on, right? So what you want to avoid, if possible, is you want to avoid a group of people where one person is not saying anything. You want to address every single person in the group. This will, when you help people overcome their social awkwardness in a social situation, it automatically places you at a higher point in the like social awkwardness hierarchy, I guess. Like generally the person who has the best social skills in the group, not always, the best social skills in the group will be the highest status person. Not necessarily, they're not high status because they have, well, I guess they're high status in that group because they have better social skills. Not that like being high status will naturally give them social skills. You understand? It goes one direction. Make sure everybody's included in the group, right? When you create that dynamic that everybody's included, and you actively include people who are not included, it makes you kind of the de facto leader of the group, just because you're coordinating everything. And if you are the leader of the group, then it vastly decreases any sort of social anxiety or awkwardness that you might have, Because it's like, are you going to be awkward around your like 3-year-old, you know, your little cousins who like you need to tell them to go sit at the kids table, or you're sitting with them at the kids table and like telling them to do stuff because they're fucking 3 or 4 years old? No, of course not. Why? Because you're the leader of that group. You just don't care. Okay, so basically to improve social awkwardness, number one, take an interest in other people. Number two, what was the other one that I said? Include everybody in the group. And number three, make it about the other person. Did I say that already? I don't really know. And I guess the fourth one, which is probably going to touch on what you really wanted to know by clicking on this video, which is like how to break into somebody else's conversation when it seems like they're already having fun and you want to like join in on their fun, which is really what it is. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong. And the best way to do that is you have to present yourself in a way that matches their energy and their values. Less important their values, more important their energy, right? And the only reason you have to do that is because it's very hard to engage a group when your energy is lower than theirs, or when it's vastly different than theirs, right? It has to be like, generally what they say is that your energy level has to be slightly higher than theirs, is generally what it is. If they're super high energy, you got to be even higher energy, but just a little bit, you know? But you have to come in at like a similar range. And for socially awkward people, this isn't really instinctive to do, because socially awkward people are more, you know, they're thinking about yourself. Being socially awkward is really a very selfish trait, if you think about it, because you're only thinking about yourself. Oh my God, I feel like this, I feel like that. What if they think this of me? What if they think that of me? Oh my God, what are the consequences of this going to be? It's a very selfish state of mind, you could say. And it's kind of hard to force yourself to artificially crank up that higher level of energy unless you just really commit to the act initially. And it's really just the initial commitment to the act, because eventually it will get better over time and you will be able to quote unquote turn it on after you do it enough times, right? It'll just become second nature to you. But in the beginning, it's going to be a little bit weird. Was that helpful at all? Man, I was all over the place in that one. I gotta stop making videos today. Anyway, that was my tip on how to improve social awkwardness. Was that helpful for you? I don't really know. You probably watch this video, you're like, who the fuck is this guy making videos in his bedroom? Let me know, leave me a comment. Do you want to see other videos, maybe more organized on this topic? Let me know, leave me a comment. Peace.